Well, today we're going to visit for a little bit about sensors for e-bikes, torque sensor and cadence sensor. So stick around. Well, hello again, Internet. Welcome back to the channel. Yep, today we are going to speak about the different type of sensors you can get on your e-bike. And I am not interested in selling you on any one. Like everything else, I'm just interested in selling you on the idea of getting out there and enjoying your e-bike. So, this is going to be the EBIKE or bike tricks. Not sure how you pronounce it, but this is their. I thought that little stick was a black snake coming across there. This is going to be their hub drive with a torque and speed sensor on it. And you know, we might get us a little bit of rain today. But let's talk about the torque sensor here on the hub drive. The torque sensor on a hub drive operates off of the amount of pressure that you are putting on the sensor in opposition to just the movement of the pedals. So if I just move my pedals here, my motor's not kicking in at all. There's no kicking in at all on that. If I start to put some pressure on my pedals, then it's going to go ahead and go. You know, the motor is going to kick in. How much is the motor going to kick in? Well, that's going to be a little bit dependent on what type of an actual system that you have. You know, some of them kicks in all the way, other up to a certain speed, because this is a torque and a speed sensor. It cuts off at a particular speed for each level of passenger assist. Others will give you a certain amount of power up to that particular speed. You know, that's going to be a little bit, and we're not going to get into that at this time. We might get into that later, and if anybody has any questions on that, go ahead and shoot it in the comments or send me an email, and I'll be happy to help you out any way that I can on that. That's kind of not the scope of this particular video at all. But a torque sensor bike, I'm not going to say this bike, but a torque sensor bike. There's our blue heron on the shore right there. Wonder how long he's going to stay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sneak over here into the grass a little bit, because it's still pretty green and it won't make near as much noise. And we're just kind of creeping along here kind of slow. I don't know if y'all can see him right there or not. And there he goes. He maybe not going to go. No, he's going to take off across the lake. All right, there we went down a bird hole instead of a rabbit hole. We've still got the turtles out. We got a bunch of them sunning over here, so we're going down the holes there. There's 3 or 4 of them right there on that log. There's one on that log. I don't know if you all got over there, maybe even too small to see. But anyway, that's how the torque sensor works, and some of them are programmable as to how much torque you're getting in there and everything. So what's the pros and cons of a torque sensor? Well, a torque sensor is a little bit more natural feeling, because if I am pedaling just a little bit right here, and if I pedal harder, it just kind of kicks in harder. So that's, you know, something I would have to call into the category for me as a pro, for you know, somebody else that might not be. If I'm going to make a turn right here, I'll throw this all the way up into pedal assist 5, and that's as high as it is right here. It's set for 5 maximum pedal assist. It can go from 5 to 9, but I'm going to not touch my brakes, and I'm going to continue to pedal on a very difficult turn there, and it didn't take off on me, and my pedals were continuously moving. There was one little section I had to stop just making that tight of a turn, but it wasn't because the motor was kicking in on me. You know, the motor was not propelling me forward. So, you know, that's certainly a big plus there. You don't have to get your fingers out on the brakes. I normally have mine out there. I'm trying to break that habit with this right here. But, you know, you can continue to pedal and make very tight turns. And so, yeah, it's not taking off. Now, if I put some pressure on this, now I'm putting pressure on there, and man, we're just going to go. It is just going to roll. So get that down. I never have that thing up there. I usually ride in about PAS2. So you got a definite, you know, there's that. Now, downside of this is you can't ghost pedal. And so I'm not going to get anywhere unless I'm putting pressure. Now, you know, it's no secret that it's a lot of more mature market that's getting into e-bikes, and some of us, we cannot pedal like we used to. We've got physical limitations. We got bad knees, bad backs. I've got all of the above. I just it hasn't affected me just yet. So, you know, we may not be able to go and pedal an actual bike. And so you know, that would be a con of a torque sensor if you're in that category right there. Another issue could be that when you get into this e-biking, you start going much further than what you had anticipated you were going to ever go. And you might find out you're wearing yourself down when you get to the point of no return, you know, and you got to keep going. It would be nice to have a cadence sensor on that you can really cut down the amount of pressure. Now, I can take this up to, you know, we're going to turn it up to pedal assist 5. And I'm going to pedal with very little pressure on these pedals, and it is going to give me some. So, you know, you can mitigate that a little bit. You know, I mean, I'm not putting hardly any pressure on these pedals, and it's bumping up to, you know, 200 watts, 180 watts, 130 watts, you know, versus if I take this down to pedal assist 1 and I try to do that, you know, I'm getting 0, 184, and then back to 0, 26, you know, so there is that aspect of it right there that you might want to ghost pedal. Your other option, workaround on that, is your throttle. You can use that, but I'm gonna be very honest, I'm not a big advocate of throttles on any of these e-bikes, quite honestly. And the throttle is not going to allow you to continue to exercise with a low impact exercise. So there's that. So next, let's talk about the cadence sensor. And that's what I happen to be on right now. This is the Hioki Cheetah. It has a cadence sensor. And the way that a cadence sensor works is there's a sensor that's a magnetic sensor inside the crank, and it picks up when your pedals are moving. All I have to do is be moving and passing over that sensor. And look, if you want to get into the technicals of it, you can have different numbers of magnets and that kind of thing right there. That's not what the scope of this particular video is. It's just how the different sensors end up working, the basics of it. And when you make the pedals move, basically it's like you're hitting the throttle and the bike goes. There are some differences in how different cadence sensors work as far as, do they give you a certain amount of power? They're all based on speed. Do they give you a certain amount of power up to X speed for whatever pedal assist you're in? Do they give you all of the power up to that speed? But they're all relatively similar in that aspect. So what is a cadence sensor good for? Well, I think we'll head back down this way here again too. A cadence sensor is really good. I was looking to see what that was on the road there. Cadence sensor is really good for low impact riding. If you know, it's no secret that a lot of the market for a lot of these new e-bikes are us more mature, yes, us more mature people that are getting out there and riding these bikes. And a lot of times we've got some physical issues, you know, with our knees, our backs, our legs, and all these kind of things, and higher impact of some other things would keep us from doing this. We'd love to get out there and ride a regular bicycle, but we can't pedal a regular bicycle. Well, this is the ticket right here, because right here, what I'm going to do is called ghost pedaling. There goes the turtles again. I am just turning the pedals. And I'm going up to 12 miles an hour here by just turning the pedals. There's no pressure on them. And if you put it into a different pedal assist, you're going to go a little faster than that. Well, we'll just show you. We're actually going up a hill now, and we're just going to turn the pedals. And you can kind of really see it just takes right off. You know, and I'm putting no pressure on the pedals. In other words, the motor is doing all of the work here, every bit of it. And we're up 17, 8, almost 18 right there. There goes a deer. Don't know if you was able to catch that or not, but you know, it just takes right off. And that's basically what you're doing, is you are operating the throttle by turning your legs. Now, if you want to actually pedal the bike, let's go ahead and gear that down a little bit. Now what I'm doing is I am helping the throttle with my legs. I'm not just operating it with my legs, but I'm helping it with my legs. And I can get some exercise that way, and it can be some pressure on the exercise that way, because I can put this up into, let's say, the 4th mechanical gear, have it in pedal assist 1, and I'm having to work. You know, I'm having to put pressure on my pedals in order to maintain this speed that way. So I'm helping that throttle out, and that's probably the best example of it that I can think of. All right, now here's another situation. You get an e-bike, and I've been telling you, you're going to go further than what you think. And you think, oh, I'm good, I'm only going to be going 10 miles most of the time. Pretty soon you're going to want to go 20 miles, 30 miles. You know, you're going to want to start really racking on the miles. And a lot of times we're not in good enough shape to go ahead and put them kind of miles on. So you can back off the amount of pedaling you're doing, and you can make it in direct relationship by your mechanical gears of how much pressure you put on there. And you can take it down to very little pressure and still be able to help the motor a little bit as you can. But what's the downside? Well, if you've watched the channel, you know that I always have fingers on the brakes. That's a bad habit. That's a good habit, I guess. But if I go to turn around on a nice little greenway like this, and I'm turning my pedals, it's going to take off on me. You know, and I know many folks that did exactly that and ended up in the weeds. So that's a relatively common issue with a cadence sensor, because you're getting the power that you're going to get on pedal assist 1, you're going to get it from just turning your pedals. So, you know, that's one of the things that you got to be cautious on. Now, how do you work? What's the workaround for that? Well, you know, when you're if you're going to turn around out here, and you, well, there's two workarounds. Number one, you might just not pedal and use your throttle to turn around. That's one. I don't like to do that. I'm just, you know, I'm here to ride a bicycle. I just don't use the throttle a whole lot. We'll just leave it at that, you know. And I have nothing against somebody who does use it a lot, but I just don't use it a lot. But another workaround is almost all of these bikes, especially the type that we're speaking about right here, you know, that you're out riding on the greenways and stuff, they have a cutoff switch that when your brake engages, when you hit the brake levers, it cuts off the motor. So I could just hold my brakes to where I'm not slowing down my progress. I'm just putting on my brake. I'm just applying, I'm applying the brake lever, not the brake. I'm not engaging the brakes mechanically. I'm just hitting the lever up here with my fingers. So, you know, that's a couple of workarounds for one of the bigger issues that the Cadence sensor bikes can run across. And so that's the Cadence sensor on the hub drive. I don't know that I need to add a whole lot more onto that. So, yeah. Let's talk about this sensor right here. This is a Cadence sensor, but it is on a mid-drive bike. Now, let's think about what Cadence sensor actually, the word cadence is that rhythm. And when you're talking about a rhythm, you're talking about the rhythm, if you've got a hub drive, the rhythm of that motor. And if you're dealing with a mid-drive, you're actually talking about the cadence or the rhythm of the crank. Oh, and these gears right here will make a difference with that cadence of that mid-drive motor, because if I have this thing down in first gear and I've got a certain cadence going with them cranks, it's going to be much, much different than it is, a much different speed than if I am in 10th gear and I've got that cadence. We're going to show you right here. I actually threw the kickstand on this to film a clip, and that was earlier, so I pulled it back off since then. But I'll show you right here how that works. Now, there's no throttle on this, but I am going to lift that back wheel up, and we'll turn a pedal assist on. And you can see the speed when we're down in a low gear. This is pedal assist 1, 5.6. If we start gearing up, you're going to watch that speed is going to start to climb up. And I am not touching the pedals. They're just pulling on their own for momentum. It went up another gear. We're at 7 miles an hour. Now we're up to 8 miles with another gear, 8.3. We're going to change gears again. We're up to 9.7, 8. Change gears again. We're going to go up to 11.8. We'll change gears one more time. That's not our highest gear, but we're going to go up to 13.5. All right, now we're going to gear things back down here, and you'll watch that speed. We'll start to slow it down. Hopefully you're able to see that display. And we'll just stop it right there. Now, we're going to put this up, and I did unlock this display for this. I've got it set to a lower speed typically, but I unlocked it for this. I don't even want to put it up into there and have that wheel free. Out of 7, we're going to go up to 6 here. I'm going to turn that pedal. This is in the low gears. You can hear that pedaling going. And now we're going to gear up. We're at 12, 13.7, 16, 18.3, 21, 25, 0.8, 29.6. We'll go all the way on up into the 10th gear. 35. Now let's start gearing this down. Let's take that pedal assist down. So there you see what's going on with the cadence sensor with a mid drive. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to ride this bike back uphill. I've still got this set to 9 pedal assist total. We'll put this in pedal assist 2 right here. I'm down in I believe I'm in my 3rd gear. 0 watts drawing, and I'm going 7 miles an hour. I'm going to bump it up a couple of gears. I'm pedaling about the same. Now I'm starting to draw watts, and I get up to 9 miles an hour. If I gear this up more, now I've raised up my speed, and I'm drawing watts, but I've not raised up my pedal assist. So you see what's happening there is the rhythm of them cranks is what's telling this motor to draw power. All right, now if I turn this up, I'm almost afraid to do this because I never do it like this. But if I turn this up to pedal assist 9, now I would have a very difficult time keeping up at the low gears with the pedals. So I could get some ghost pedaling going in there, but it just never happens because I don't do that. But we'll see what'll happen here. I'm sort of kind of ghost pedaling, get about 15 miles an hour, but now I'm going to gear this thing on up some, and I'm going to pedal about the same as that. And now we're going to jump right on up there. And I did set it back down since then. It's supposed to have topped out at 20 miles an hour, but maybe my legs were actually kicking in there. It went up to 21. Maybe my legs actually kicked in there and picked that up. But that is what we have with a mid-drive cadence sensor. And the biggest difference is you're dealing with the cadence of the crank, not with the cadence of the back wheel. So that makes a big difference that might be worth you considering. To me, it is probably the closest to a natural feel that I've ever ridden. That could have a little bit of familiarity with, you know, like 4,000 miles on this bike. That could be because of familiarity, and I'm not interested in riding the electric part of this. I'm interested in riding the bike part of it, but I do need the assistance. So that might have been what that has to do a little bit with, but we like it. And I wanted to let you guys know that something like this is available. So yeah, I think with that right there, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. So if you like this, hey, hit the like, hit the subscribe so you won't miss any of it. And I'll tell you one more thing. I'm still looking to check out like a Bosch motor or a Shimano motor, something like that. Hey, we'll see. You know, time will tell. But till the next time, speaking of it, it's Southern E-Biking telling you, stay safe, God bless, and keep the wheels rolling. Once again, we're out.